Hi there, Micah Bellieu, CEO and founder of Fluency Corp, corporate language training for companies. Today, we're going to talk about the hardest words to spell in English. If English is your second language, working in an office where most people are native speakers is not easy. One of the biggest challenges is that the English language has a lot of words that are hard to spell. If your native language is spelled mostly phonetically, like Spanish or Japanese, spelling in English can be especially confusing. Some of the hardest words to spell in English present difficulty because there are many similar sounds that use different letters, including words that sound exactly the same but are spelled differently. And then there are the words that are spelled the same, yet pronounced differently to add on top of everything. So if you struggle with spelling words correctly when you're writing in English, it might help to know that you are not alone. In fact, lots of native speakers like myself find spelling in English to be completely baffling too. The fact is, spelling in English is just plain confusing. But at the same time, you want to spell correctly so that you can better communicate with your colleagues and enhance your credibility. So how do you deal with the challenges of spelling in English? Here are the English spellings you must master first. Look, there are a lot of words in English, and the language just keeps growing. Right now, there's about 170,000 English words in current use. The good news is you don't need to spell even 90% of those words. Just focus on learning the correct spellings of the words that come up in your daily life and make sure you're not making the same mistakes again and again. The words that you should know how to spell will depend a lot on what job you're doing. If you work in engineering, you'll be spelling very different words on a daily basis than maybe someone who works in IT or hospitality. So you might want to go back through some of your recent emails and make a note of other words that your colleagues use a lot or phrases. Those words might be related to the work that you do. So, for example, advertise and benefits. They could just be a part of office English that your colleagues typically use. For example, apparent, basically, category. And some might even be slang terms that you will need to put in your word bank. Between the specialized vocabulary of your particular field and the words your colleagues frequently use, you should be able to identify the words whose spellings you want to make sure that you know. Let's talk about tools to avoid spelling mistakes in English. You aren't on your own when it comes to figuring out the correct spellings of English words. While you're mastering the spelling of commonly used words at your job, you can also make use of a variety of tools. Even native English speakers take spell check for granted sometimes. Make sure you use it. It can really be a lifesaver. Use spell check in Outlook, Gmail, or any email application, and just put it on automatic so that it underlines the words that are kind of questionable for the spell check. Microsoft Word and Google Drive also have automatic spell checkers, so double check that it's on. If you would like to deepen your support, check out Grammarly, although not all of their suggestions are made because you said something incorrectly. So a lot of our clients will tell me, I'm not sure what I did wrong. Why did Grammarly suggest something else? And I say to them, that's exactly it. It's a suggestion. Sometimes things might just be clearer or be a better explanation or use more precise wording. Maybe you didn't say anything wrong per se. So keep your mind pretty open when it comes to Grammarly, or ask your tutor, bring it to class and say, did I do anything wrong, or is Grammarly just suggesting something different? Now, British versus English, American English, British English versus American English. We get a lot of clients from Europe, and so they're constantly doing the British spelling. But if you do work in the United States, you've discovered that a whole host of familiar English words are now being spelled differently. So at first, it might be hard to remember to type C-O-L-O-R instead of C-O-L-O-U-R for the word color. In an email to your colleagues, it probably doesn't matter too much if you revert back to the British spellings that are familiar to you. I mean, you might get teased about it a little bit, but other than that, everyone's going to understand what you mean. But if you do want to fit in with the formal writing at your job, then you will want to make sure eventually that you get used to using the American English spellings instead of the British ones, especially if it's going to be going on printed documentation. It will probably have to be edited out. We do have some of the commonly misspelled British and English words below. And then even below that, we're going to talk about the commonly misspelled words in English. So let's wrap this up by talking about some of the most commonly misspelled words in the English language. No matter what your job is, you're likely to encounter many of these words regularly. So look below to see those, and there's also a link to them. These are words that I mistakenly misspell as well. So the word definitely, I always write D-E-F-I-N-I-T-L-Y. I have to remind myself, definite, finish that whole word, then add the L-Y. Why do I get this wrong? I have no idea, but it's something that I continue to get wrong. The word receive, words with E and I next to each other, I'm constantly writing out I-E, EI, and then feeling, that EI is obviously the right one. So take a look at those lists below. So spelling is only one part of being an effective writer in English. If you're looking for other ways to improve your written communication in English, Fluency Corp would love to tell you more about English language training. Our language classes help you focus on learning the English words and phrases that you can put to use immediately at your job on a daily basis. Please don't waste time on cookie cutter classes, or they just take a book off a shelf to help you improve to speak at your job. If it's not relevant to you, then it's not serving you. Make sure that everything is customized to your needs. Bye.